What's good, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again. How y'all doing? Happy Thursday. Please make sure to check in. Hotep's been told you tonight at 8 o'clock. Now, Don Meadowlark Lemon, CNN, I don't know, hosts, on-air personality. I don't know what do you call that stuff over at CNN? I don't know. He's quoted saying, called white men are the biggest terrorist threat in the United States. Now, one thing, let's be clear. Like, I'm not worried. I don't think anybody should be like worried about, oh man, there's gonna be a terror attack today or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Undoubtedly, I think the majority of those are planned events, scheduled events, or obviously planned and scheduled by obviously the doer. But I think oftentimes there's a little funny shenanigans there. You know what I mean? But that's a different story for a different video. I'm not going to get into that. But let's take this on a couple. Let's take his statement from this black man a couple ways here. First, of course, he's married to a white man, so him calling white men terrorists and he married to a white man is like, what is going on here? Man, I had a good one right on. I'm not going to say it though. Like, do you like terrorists, Dom? Like, that's astounding to me. He had the nerve to come out and say that, But I mean, I guess it's not, because he has a job to do. They got to demonize men, white men, and all men. And after the shooting and stuff like that, it's easy prey, you know what I mean? Easy target. But for him to say it, I'm like, what are you talking about, dog, man? Like, you're the one running with one, man. How can you be serious with the stuff you say out of your mouth? And then on a second, like, what if he said something else? Like, what if he said, black men are the biggest terrorists in the United States? If you look at Chicago, there's a shooting, a terrorist shooting. Like, matter of fact, the week before, I think there was like 26 shot in the weekend. Now, I know it's not all dead, but they've had close to, man, I remember one time, like 7 and plus up a night. Dead. There's been them hot weekends where, matter of fact, they had, during the summer, the emergency room, there were so many people getting shot in Chicago that night. They didn't have enough room in the emergency room. Somebody drove by the hospital with his camera, stuck a camera outside. There was like 50 shines outside the emergency room crying, carrying on, like, oh, they shot my baby. Is that not terrorism? So what if you said black men are the biggest terrorists in the United States? In Chicago, that would be the truth, right? What if you said Arab men are the biggest terrorists in the threat in the United States? ACLU would have shut you down that very second. They had to pull your black ass off the air, Dom. You see what I'm saying? This is far out, man. We've reached. I can't even imagine, like, if I would have thought like some of this stuff would have been said, and this is the climate, I'm going to use that millennial buzzword, climate. This is the climate of the United States, of political discourse, news discourse. I would have man, like, if you told me this 20 years ago, I'd be like, man, get the hell out of here. This is far out, man. I just think, but if you ask me honestly, I would just say that, this terror threat is overblown. Some people are unlucky and they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's nothing really you can do about that. We'll never have a utopia or anything like that. There's no utopia on this earth. You know what I mean? There's going to be crime and killings, you know, I think in man till the man no longer exists. You know what I mean? There's going to be various degrees of it, but all that sci-fi shit you see and shit that y'all are trying to, you know, this perfect society, I'm like, man, it's never going to come. It's just the nature of man. You know, I mean, man and woman. I don't want to leave anyone out, please believe me. But I don't think that, you know, CNN is in the business of causing discord, you know, and we all know a lot of people that work at these news agencies or work for the federal bureaus and shit like that, you know, so you really can't. Even Dom might be working for them boys. Like a lot of people say Wolf and what's that guy, Anderson, whatever guy name is, say they work for them people. You know what I mean? It's probably Dom as well. You know what I mean? They recruit people that to work. You know what I mean? It's not all they go through the academy and all this shit. No, man, they pull motherfuckers off the street. You know what I mean? So you can't take the spooks. So when I call Dom Lemon a possible spook, I'm not talking about his ethnicity. You know, he could be a spook, a real spook. This is what it is. I mean, that's their job, man. You just got, the best thing to do is turn CNN off. You know what I mean? Ignore them. You know, I think giving them credence. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we want them fired. I mean, just turn CNN off, man. I mean, shit. Why should we be watching CNN if they're debating and trying to stir the pot like this? I don't know. Anyway, this is Uncle Hotep. I'll talk to y'all later. Remember, Hotep's been told you every Thursday. Check in tonight. Peace.